things die in order to be born in a different way. There's a rune that is called Yera, the year or the alternating of seasons, and has this kind of turning movement to it. And it's a rune of impermanence also, of change, of metabolism, at least in my own experience and interpretation. And all those little changes between one part and the other part of the rune and the cycle, and one part and a different part of the seasons, those little intervals are like little deaths. They are also maybe those little pauses you can feel in between in-breath and out-breath. And as human beings, because often we've kind of crystallized as a need for security, it is difficult sometimes to, at least for some of us, to go with the process of change that is always present, really. And so we have a tendency to set patterns, and unconsciously in many cases, and they become solidified as reality, or so-called reality. So when we want to effect a lot of change, including in suffering, we may think, I want to change this because I know it's bad for me, and or I want to get better with this or this, and I know this is not good, or this is not good for me anymore, not harmonious. But maybe we don't realize it's also encased in a set of patterns. And so identifying this is interesting. And this is where the idea of disrupting patterns is interesting also, which is very present in many shamanistic and animistic cultures as different rites. There are rites that kind of help you integrate, rituals that help you, ceremonies that help you integrate this turning cycle, recognize its coming and going. And there are also rites that are there to interrupt patterns. So rites of passage, or rites of death and rebirth in various forms. And on our level, on a practical kind of day-to-day level, even without engaging in big rituals or rites, we can seek to disrupt the patterns of behavior that we have every day. So we can seek to create behaviors or introduce behaviors that disrupt the pattern. They will, in a way, here's something interrupting a pattern, some drone, a drone flying above. So that's disrupting the pattern. So we can create that disruption ourselves. And certain types of animistic and shamanistic practices, such as vision quests, this is a kind of generic term for going in nature and creating a time and space of aloneness, of withdrawing also all kinds of stimulation, and it's also creating a space where we can move from trying to find an answer with our mind, which is limited and is more familiar with patterns, and move to another way of obtaining information, which is our body, which is our senses, and which is really our relationship with the natural world. So we are moving from a state of mind and patterns into a state of being within our senses, in the body, in relationship with nature, and opening to something wider. As I mentioned in that video about that practice of offering and listening in nature, our listening is key. Moving from a place of mental understanding and concept into a place of hollowness, quietness is key. So different practices allow you to do this. On a very simple level, if you are encountering a problem, a difficulty you're trying to find a solution for in your life, going in nature during a certain period of time with the intent of opening up is a way of moving beyond your mind. So you possibly go on a walk and you'll set an intent at the beginning of your walk, maybe crossing a certain threshold. There are other videos and other people talking about this, but I find this an interesting, really interesting practice and a very valuable one. And crossing the threshold with your intent, and then you'll walk and just listen and watch all along your journey what is happening in nature. Listen to your process, listen to your emotions, listen to the intuitions that are present for you. Also, one thing I think that is interesting to add to this is when you walk, really move into your bodily sense.